This is how we spent 2 days in Canyonlands National Park. In this video, I'm going to talk about some trails we took, some sights we saw, and just our general opinions of things. We split our adventures into 2 half days, but you could easily combine those into 1 full day. Our first hike of the day is Mesa Arch Trail. It's a half-mile loop. And this terrain, we have a very cloudy day today. We made it to Mesa Arch, and honestly, after being at Arches National Park, it's not impressive size-wise, but what is impressive is this view through it. This is a side view of the arch, and you can see just how steep that entire wall is going down into the canyon. We finished the trail. It was super easy, super quick. We did it in about 20 minutes, and that's with stopping to observe the arch. It was a little chilly for us. I'm always out of breath, so don't take that into consideration on the difficulty of the trail. It was a really cool view, so definitely worth it.
I don't even know what trail we're on.
Aztec Butte.
We're on, I don't want to do it actually.
Okay. Our second trail of the day is Aztec Butte. It's going to take us out to some granaries, and we are going to be alongside the Taylor Canyon. So it is a bit of a trek up the top of the butte. To no surprise, I'm already out of breath. It's really helpful to follow as you're going up is our lovely stacks of rocks. All right, an update as I'm editing this video. The proper name for the stack of rocks is called a cairn, but for the rest of the video, I'm going to be calling it a stack of rocks because I didn't know what it was until today. So on your way up the butte, there is quite a bit of scaling, not like hardcore, but enough to make you go on your hands. Just a heads up going into that. We made it to the top of the butte. Looks like this up here, so just kind of the landscape of the ground. But then you get this awesome view. So we're just up here kind of hanging out at Taylor Canyon. Wait, I think I heard something. Oh my gosh, we spotted a Devin in the wild. We found this little hideout down here. It's cool to just sit in. You can't see much from down there. It's really just bushes, but it's a neat little area to chill in. All right, so these are the granaries. This is what the Pueblos use to store food, water, seeds, and so on and so forth. We read a sign that said typically they covered up these openings with like mud or clay in order to hide them from their competition of other people traveling. And just a reminder that following the stacked rocks is a lifesaver, because especially here and on the last trail, it tells you exactly where you need to be going. Post-hike thoughts on Aztec Butte. It was really cool. It took us an hour in total, but we did stop on top of the butte for a while just to check out the canyon views because they were spectacular. It was really awesome to take the little spur to see the granaries as well. It was pretty tough to get up on top of the butte just because you had to scale a bit. So if you're looking for something easy, just know this may be more of a challenge. It's not too challenging, but it does make you work a little bit, but it was totally worth it on both sides. I'm realizing now that the word granaries might actually be granaries. I don't know why that didn't click in my head. I mean, it could be either or, potato, potato. Our last hike of day 1 is the Upheaval Dome. We are going to go to the second overlook, which overlooks the dome and the canyon. This is the view from the first overlook. We're going to the second one, but we stopped while we were on our way up. And one thing that I'm trying to work on as we go up these inclines is breathing in through my nose and out through my mouth as we prepare to hopefully, cross your fingers, to Angel's Landing in less than 2 weeks. I gotta prepare my body for that. And on the way to the second viewpoint, looks like we're gonna be going up this nice little mound here. And here we have the second viewpoint. You can see the dome at a lot better of an angle. There's Devin down there. Yeah, it's really cool. Post-hike thoughts. The sun came out and it got pretty hot. It got hot. We're
Couldn't
sweating.
imagine doing this in the summer. It'd be miserable.
No, it was a lot uphill, and somehow uphill both ways.
The definition of uphill both ways.
Yeah, like it felt like the whole time we were going uphill. But it was a cool view, it was a cool sight. At first, I was thinking the first overlook was what you should do, not the second, but the second ended up being really cool views. And let's see, it took us about 40 minutes to do the entire thing. We're starting off day 2 with Murphy's Point. So this is like 3.6 miles in total. We're gonna see some cool stuff out here. It's really overcast today, but I have my sunglasses on because I have a headache and I'm dramatic. Here we go. Our hike out so far has been pretty easy terrain. This hike is listed under the easy category of all of the trails and hikes. It's been flat, dirt, and like this. And from what I've heard, there's not much on the way out here. And hopefully we see some good stuff soon. We aren't completely sure if we made it, but the view is awesome. It's really cool. The reason why I'm questioning whether we were there is because we were following the cairns. I finally learned the name of these stacks of rocks, and it just kind of stopped. And we assumed that's Murphy's Point? Question mark. Maybe. Hopefully. Post-hike thoughts. So our total distance was
3.7 miles.
okay, and how long?
73 minutes.
73 minutes. That's not bad because the map that says this should be like 2 hours. You know, we're quick walkers. In our opinions, the walk there was really boring, except when you could like kind of jump through the rocks. But the end, what do you think about it?
Like the view?
Yeah, the view.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was cool.
Just overlook a giant canyon.
It's huge.
Pretty sweet.
We didn't really see the stuff that was said to be at the end of Murphy's Point, but we aren't sure if we actually made it to the end of Murphy's Point. But it was still a good time. We're at the Grand Viewpoint Overlook, and you can just see how vast the canyons are here. Before I do my usual end of video going over maps, ratings, all of that, I just want to talk about how we only went to Island in the Sky in Canyonlands because the Needles and the Maze were not accessible from the way we drove in. We would have had to drive about like 60 miles more to go to the Needles, and we weren't really thinking of doing the major hikes there, so we just decided to stay in Island in the Sky. Obviously, you can go to the other places. This is just where the majority of this stuff is. Canyonlands, I have a bone to pick with you because you didn't give me the pretty paper map that I get at every other national park. I only got a map on a newspaper, so what's up with that? Maybe budget cuts, I don't know, but I survived with a newspaper. I'm just saying. I like the maps. Anyways, here we go. Let's see. Day 1, we drove in through the visitor center. We were staying at BLM land, basically like there off the map. So we drove in on our first day. We started at Mesa Arch. I gave it a 7 out of 10 only because the view through the arch was astonishing. It was beautiful. It was amazing. The arch itself wasn't very cool, but you know what? Whatever. It's still arch. It's still cool. Next, we did Aztec Butte. I gave it a 9 out of 10 because of 2 reasons combined by itself. The Butte, I wouldn't give it a 9 out of 10, but with the granaries, since I still don't know how to say it, that historical tie into it, I give it a 9 out of 10. And then we ended at Upheaval Dome. Upheaval Dome, I gave a 6 out of 10. It was cool to see it, but also wasn't the most interesting thing in the world that I have ever seen. And our second day in the park, we made our way to the bottom part of the Y shape that is Island in the Sky. We did Murphy's Point. I gave it a 5 out of 10. Like I mentioned in the video, it was a boring walk, and I wasn't exactly sure what the point was, where it ended. So if there was a little bit more clarification, that would have helped. I would have liked that a little more, but it was still cool to see the views at the end of the point. And then we just made a quick trip down to Grand Viewpoint Overlook. Personally, I don't think that was the best views that we saw in the entire park. I think the best views were at the top of Aztec Butte. That's just my opinion. But overall, you know, Canyonlands was awesome. It was really cool. Like I mentioned, the pictures and videos don't do the canyons justice. They're absolutely gorgeous and will blow your mind if you make your way to this park.